9:26 p.m., February 14th. I had been chasing the infamous gangster slash puppy stealer slash amateur oboist Francis Germius von Lingonberry for 3 months straight with no soap, but it was Valentine's Day. I knew Lingonberry, that notorious one-womanizer that he was, would be having no puppies tonight, so I took the night off. Enter a dame.
You have to help me, detective!
I swear I'd seen her somewhere. A pretty broad like her alone in my office on Valentine's Day. Time to get down to business.
Please, you have to help! I think my husband is cheating!
Or not. You're talking to the lead expert on oboe grooming in gangster culture, and the one man who has come close to finding that rat bastard, Francis Germius von Lingonberry.
Francis Germius von Lingonberry?
Yes, I'm an important man. Now, may I suggest going to a marriage counselor for this little issue you're having?
I don't think I can trust a marriage counselor. I can't trust anybody. You see, my husband is Don Julio Smith.
Don Julio Smith? Yes, Don Julio Smith, the finest artist the world had ever seen. Love, heterosexual, monogamous category. And here in my office was his perfect muse. I'll take it. There's our guy. Five hours passed and Don Julio Smith never left the room. It was time to investigate. Footprints. High heels. A dame. Curious. 1 week went by with no sign of the famous artist. I was beginning to think that he had fled when his wife came back.
Detective!
Did you find him? I am hot on his trail, Miss Smith.
The painting has been stolen!
Which painting?
The one he was working on! He was almost finished. It has been stolen!
The $1 million painting. Stolen. This was more than just a runaway affair. Don Julio Smith's smock. Lipstick stain. The painting. Why would the thief return the painting? Why would the artist let someone take it? Was the artist kidnapped, or had he really run away? And who was this mysterious woman? I waited in front of the building in case I saw suspicious activity of sorts. I was about to give up and go back to the office when I saw... Put your hands where I can see them. The lover. Why did you return the painting?
I never stole it.
Where is Don Julio?
I gave him a few lessons.
I'm gonna need a better explanation than that.
I'm more of a shower.
A month ago, Don Julio Smith came to me. He had hit a roadblock with his painting, The Essence of Love, Part 2.
Why did he come to you?
Don Julio Smith has always stuck to the two-dimensional, relying on paint as his tool. I added a few more elements and light into his artistic method.
Thought I smelled something burning.
Every object we interact with in our lives is made up of moving or vibrating particles, atoms, and these are grouped together to form structures, or molecules.
Well, of course, but what does this have to do?
The energy and the motion of these particles, whether they are vibrating or moving freely in a container, is the particle's kinetic energy. When an object has a temperature of 0 Kelvin, there's no kinetic energy. In other words, the particle is not moving or vibrating.
So what does that have to do with the painting?
It doesn't.
Then why are you
Thermal radiation is also known as incandescence. It's the radiation of light due to the motion of charged particles in matter. Heat is the energy that creates this motion.
So that's what the fire was for.
Exactly. In an object that is not at absolute zero Kelvin, the object's particles move or vibrate and constantly collide with other nearby particles. These collisions cause the kinetic energy of one particle to transfer to the other, causing a change in the velocity, the acceleration or deceleration of each particle. The change in velocity in charged particles generates electromagnetic radiation, also known as light. The color and intensity of the light generated depends on how high the temperature of the object is.
So you're going to light the painting on fire?
No. The fire is the source of heat for the magnesium metal atoms to reach the activation energy.
What is activation energy?
Activation energy is the minimum energy necessary for a chemical reaction.
What sort of chemical reaction?
When magnesium is heated from a flame, it reacts with the oxygen and air to form magnesium oxide, a compound which is the atoms of different elements are bonded together. Once the magnesium has burnt out, the magnesium gives up 2 electrons to oxygen atoms to form a white powder.
The footprints.
This is an exothermic reaction.
This is all well and good, but art with chemistry? I think you're trying to distract me from the fact that you stole this painting.
Don Julio Smith left the painting here because it's of no use to him now.
Why not?
Why don't we go follow him and find out?
My love. My life.
Where have you been?
My latest project.
Ice?
Oh wait, take these. The light is too powerful for the human eye. For you.
What is going on?
When we combust magnesium in dry ice, it reacts with carbon dioxide in an extremely exothermic reaction. This creates magnesium oxide and carbon. Heat is generated in this reaction, causing the system to reach a maximum temperature of approximately 3100 Kelvin, at which temperature magnesium oxide emits a brilliant white light. The relationship between an object's temperature and the intensity of the light it emits can be roughly shown by Planck's spectrum. Each curve on this graph corresponds to a different temperature. Every point on each one of these curves describes the intensity of thermally emitted light at a specific wavelength of an object at the curve temperature. Unfortunately, we can't see most of the light emitted this way. The human eye is only equipped to see light with wavelengths between around 400 and 700 nanometers. As you can see, many of the curves at lower temperatures do not enter this visible region. As the temperature climbs, it inches closer and closer to this visible region and finally breaks into it at approximately 500 degrees Celsius. As the temperature climbs higher, the object will begin to glow red. Eventually, it will glow brilliant white as the visible region becomes entirely included beneath the temperature's curves. It just takes a lot of heat to get an object up to those temperatures.
And what's with the dry ice?
He is an artist, after all.
So the fire was for the magnesium.
Exactly.
And the painting?
You supposed to know.
Why would he ask for your help?
We easily divide science and art, but there's a lot of beauty in science as well, and in reality they're not that different.
So Don Julio Smith wasn't having an affair?
No, of course not.